Okay, part two. So Tuesday, that was my Monday, and Tuesday I did. Oh, I should do a summary. See if I'm gonna do these long videos. Tuesday I did the bullet train to Kyoto, and I went to Toji Temple, and there was a market, and I did some biking in Kyoto, and then I did Nara, which is where the deer are, and then I checked into my Osaka cargo capsule hotel. So yeah, so that's what I did yesterday. And so the bullet train, if you know exactly when you're gonna leave, when you're gonna take your train, and if you're not worried about missing it, you should probably book in advance, especially if you have multiple tickets, because I guess the closer it gets, the prices will go up, and they could sell out seats. So do that in advance if you think you know exactly when your trip will be. I learned that. Also, if you're gonna do the bullet train in the Shinkansen, there's this thing called ekiberi, which is like a special bento box you could buy near the train station, which like it comes in a might come in a train shaped bento box. So I definitely would have done that just to see I've done it. If you're going toward Kyoto, Osaka from Tokyo, try to sit on 4E, or I mean not 4E, the E seat, because that will give you the view of Mount Fuji. So if you're on that side, you can see it. Otherwise, you'll be on the other side of the train. And then E is the window seat, so you can take your pictures of that. The bullet train, yeah, it goes fast. I don't know what to say about it. Nice trip. I wish they had that in America, like to LA. I don't know how many miles I went. It was like a 200 something miles, and yeah, when you're on there you see how fast it's going. You get to see the scenery. I wasn't on the window seat, I was right next to it, so I wish I was the window seat. I would have recorded more, or I would have recorded some. I don't think I recorded anything. People were eating on the train their breakfast lunches, and I wish I would have brought something just to say I did. What else is there? Wow, it's silent on that train. Unless if somebody, even when you get on the phone, like they'll tell you to go to between the cars instead of at your seat, and people will be on the phones over there. There's also the bathroom over there. Oh, the bathroom. There's the normal like male or female bathrooms, but there's also like a smaller one between them, which is just a urinal. Like it's like in a little phone booth. It like has a door, but I thought that was efficient use of the space and could get men in and out quickly so that a line doesn't happen. Not that I ever thought it was busy at all, but that was interesting. Someone came in, so I had to stop recording. I'm just in the smoking room. There's nowhere else with privacy. There's little booth or little seats out there, but it's so quiet. Music is just some quiet, classical music, so I can't be loud. Not that I want to be loud, but I don't want to interrupt or get interrupted, so that's why I'm in the smoking room. What was I talking about last? Bullet train? Oh, the bullet train bathrooms. I don't know there's nothing else to say about it. It's a good experience. It's something I felt like I had to do when I came to Japan, just because I always hear about the bullet train. So I gotta go to once, no matter where I go, I felt like. It's so quiet on it. People are so respectful. Uh, they actually tell you to be quiet. Of course they do. And they're so quiet that you know how if it's quiet, people will start to get even more quiet. It was like at a movie theater, like if there's a quiet scene, everyone's like they stop chewing their popcorn, they stop moving around so loudly. So it felt like that the whole trip. Even even people, you could hear people chewing their food, and they started hearing it. They started doing it slowly when they realized people could hear it. Uh, and then it's really easy to sleep on it. They expect you to sleep. They play an alarm clock music when we're getting close to a stop. So it's just some gentle, soothing music that will hopefully wake you up and you don't miss your stop. Yeah, so if you go on it, sit on the E side, E seat if you're going toward Kyoto, Osaka, and also get an ekiben, the bento box, just so you can eat it on the train. So I went to, so on my way to Nara, which was my destination, I stopped, or you have to go through Kyoto. So I was expecting to maybe spend like an hour there maybe, at most, because I wanted to get to Nara early in the day while the deer were out. So Nara is a place where there's a park and you just go there to feed deer, and there's like hundreds of deer everywhere apparently, and they're nice to humans, or if you're, as long as you're realize that it's a wild animal. Stay away from the males. So on my way there, that was my goal. That's where I wanted to go. That's one of the things I wanted to do in Japan. But I was stopping in Kyoto, which is another big destination spot. And I decided when I was taking the Shinkansen there, I decided to try to rent a bike. And super easy to do that. I was kind of worried that with the streets or me being unfamiliar, it would be a problem, which I definitely was nervous about, and it's good to be nervous about it, but it turned out being totally easy. I was way more careful than I needed to be. So I rented a bike, and pretty much the first place I ended up going was Toji Temple, and I realized, or I found out today also yesterday, that it was the 21st, which is when they have their monthly markets. So it was, I guess it's could be a flea market kind of thing. I wouldn't call it a flea market though. But there was a bunch of stalls and people were selling a whole bunch of different things. And I felt like that gave me the most local Japan experience I could have asked for. I got to see all the stuff people were buying, what the locals were interested in all the foods that they were eating, and like what was popular. What did I eat? I got, there's like a fried or like grilled cabbage and noodle thing that I got. I think there was meat in it. I don't remember exactly now, but it had the sauce. It was good. There was a whole bunch of foods. I also tried the takoyaki, which is the seafood dough ball. I wouldn't call it dough, but seafood ball. I tried like a bean or custard filled like dessert bread thing. They were also selling some like fish, like fried chicken. There were just, oh my gosh, there was so much shops or like stalls. it was filled the whole area. It even went like all the way out to the street, and I didn't realize it. Like, oh, this is a cute small area, but no, it was like when I first went through it for like 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, this is a nice thing, but it was actually probably 10 times that. And so I started picking up the pace. I was shopping a little bit. I bought some souvenirs, and I bought mostly stuff that's like handmade, to like try to support actual people instead of re-buying something that they're selling that they bought from somewhere else. And got some nice souvenirs. There was So it was nice to see their customs, and I also saw the temple, and I think that's my first actual Japanese style building I saw, like when I went into it, which they didn't allow recording, so I can't show you the inside. I'll probably upload that outside in another video. I saw someone doing a show with a monkey who's like standing on its hand or jumping across from stairs to stairs, platform to platform, and being funny. It was fun, yeah. But just to see the customs, how people treated the temple, how they would bow when they left it, and it got me. I already like appreciated the culture, but it was good to see the respectfulness. Even I never seen any like loud or obnoxious kids or anybody. It felt totally safe. No one was bumping into each other. Even if like a shop owner knew that you wouldn't buy anything, they'd still just like greet you, like konnichiwa. Or there's words I don't know what they're saying, but I always respond to them like, oh yeah, thank you, you too, happy birthday, I was gonna say. But it's nice that you feel safe and in the area. But so that was a good local experience that I felt like nothing else could have done it as well for me. So I saw the temple, I ate. Oh, so I rode my bike there, and the craziest thing, this is more about the Japanese culture, but there's a free parking space for your bikes, and there's like 500 bikes, just not even like in a marked spot, but they're like perfectly lined up in rows. Like there's no parking space, but people are like, they put theirs in a spot that's an area that's open. And then there's multiple columns, and none of the bikes are locked. And so I had my rental bike there, and I was like, I can't just leave this, can I? I can't leave a bike. Like I'm on the hook if it gets stolen. I rented it. I gotta pay more if anything happens. But I realized we're in Japan and we're safe. So I even I had a beanie that I wear on my head. I'd even left it in the bike basket. I was just out there, and then my glasses case, and I just left it in my bike, and I came back like 2 hours later, and it's still there, of course. Oh yeah, also, so I was expecting to spend maybe an hour biking, but the time just flew. I was living in the moment with the culture shock. So I ended up staying a lot longer, eating more food, buying more stuff. And so by the time I left there, it was, well, when I took my trip, I was already kind of late when I got on the bullet train, or I left later than I would have wanted. And then so I was even later when I returned my bike to Kyoto, and then I was trying to decide if I should just skip Nara, because by the time I would have gotten there, the sun would have been setting, and people recommend you get there early, like at 8 a.m. before the crowds, and all the crowds are like afternoon, and things close over there at 5 p.m. But I wouldn't get there until after 5 p.m. But I decided to just stick with my plan even though I was hecka late. And I went to Nara anyway, hoping to see some deer, even if I wasn't that interested in seeing like the buildings or like the tourist shops. So I wasn't worried about that. And some of the buildings were lit up anyway. So I ended up getting there. I started walking in and it was like totally dark, nighttime, like 6 o'clock. And like all the stragglers that were still over there were like walking in the opposite direction. Everyone's leaving, no one else is going in. So I'm like, oh man, I just want to see some deer and I'm late. But went anyway. And when I got like the 20-minute walk later, I saw like a couple deer lying down on the floor next to some vending machines. And like, oh, okay, I guess this is what I'm gonna see, and this is what I took my 50-minute train ride for. But I kept walking anyway, like all the way to how far you're supposed to go in. And then eventually I saw like two people that were petting a deer. And I don't think it's something I wasn't considering petting a deer, especially by myself, because I've read that they could go crazy, especially if you have if you feed them crackers. So I wasn't planning to pet a deer. By the way, I didn't. So spoiler, I didn't. But I did. So I was walking toward that direction, and eventually, like a herd. Is that what they're called? Stampede, not a stampede. They're not really. I saw like 30 or 50 deer came right past me, like through our walkway, and like I was close enough to touch it. Like I learned from that guy that was petting a deer, you can pretend like you're feeding them food, and then they'll come up to try to smell you, but you could just be like, "Psych, I'm just trying to pet you." So I was close. I did this, and I could have went like this, but I decided because I'm by myself in Japan, it would be so dumb if I got injured or hurt, or I got attacked by deer by myself. So I didn't want to be on the news. So I wanted to, but I decided to not be crazy. So I did get to get the experience though. Literally like 30 or 50 deer. There were like a couple groups, like separate, but so I did it. It was a success. I'm so glad I went. And on my way walking back, I saw the deer. They eventually all passed me. Then I walked around a little bit. Then I started walking back to the train station. But when I caught up to them again, they were at a crosswalk. They were waiting at a crosswalk, and there was like cars. They weren't. Not many of them were going to that street, but they were like going there, turning the other way. And the deer were waiting at the crosswalk, looking at the cars. so like that was a group of like 10. And when the car stopped, like they started walking, so they know exactly how the street and the crosswalk works. And I have it on video. I'll probably post that too. Maybe when I get good at vlogging, I could edit that into my while I'm talking. But not there yet. So they were crossing the street, and that was cool to see. And when I was walking back, I went to the Lawson store, which is just like a convenience store. Konbini. That's how you say it in Japan, Japanese. And they have I bought a magnet, which is of deer crossing a crosswalk. So it was the perfect souvenir for me, I think. And that was my day. Wednesday. So Wednesday, and then I was in Nara. So I went from Tokyo to Kyoto to Nara, and then I went to Osaka, and that's where I am now. I'm at my capsule hotel, and I showed you guys it earlier. It's I would definitely stay here again. Even honestly, last night was the best sleep I've had. It wasn't the most comfortable bed. It's just a little mattress, like not even a thick mattress on the hard floor. So if you lay on your side, or like if you put your elbow down or your hip, you might like it might be hard. You might feel like the wood almost. But I got the best sleep. Everyone was super quiet. I don't know how many people there were. I know there were at least two people. There was two to there could have been up to five people there, but I only saw one actual person alive. I heard someone else snoring. Yeah, I would stay here again. I would definitely go to Nara again. I would buy the crackers, um, but be careful if you do it because deer will eat through your pockets. And I've read they could also, if you got your back to them, and if there's a male deer that doesn't like you, you might get rammed. So make sure you keep them in front of you. Stay away from the ones with the antlers, probably. Recommend Nara. I recommend going to Kyoto Toji Temple on the 21st for the local markets. I'm so glad. That's probably my second favorite thing so far this trip after. I don't want to say Team Labs just blew my mind. So it's not fair to compare things to that. But I was saying the market was definitely, which is I guess just the Japanese tradition. That was my favorite Japanese thing to do. So enjoyable trip so far. This is my halfway point, I think. Yeah, so this is my time here, and then I'm gonna try to update more as long as I have privacy. Maybe I don't know if I'm getting better or not, but hopefully by the end of this trip, I'll be getting better at vlogging, and I'll try to upload this today, and today, what's my plan? I don't know. I'll see you later. Bye.